Hi guys, so as you guys know from following me on Instagram, round 4 of the $1,000 project has just begun. This one is a short but sweet one, but it's different and it is seriously powerful. Baby Apple is due at the end of August, so I've only got a really limited time to make this really count. So I can finally share with you the details as to what I am doing and why. Now, the other day, the Fidency Index report was released, and this is a really detailed report that shows you what is happening in Australia between men and women's financial health. There are some really interesting things that came out of this report, and I will link this in the video description box below. But the key things that I am really concerned about are, number one, the gender pay gap between men and women is 14%. And then the gender pay gap between graduates is 5%. Also, the superannuation gap, which is I think the most important one that we need to be aware of, is around about 34% between men and women. Now, the reason why this gap is so big is because women often are the ones that choose to step out of the workforce for unpaid work, such as raising children or taking care of family members. Now, sometimes this is only for a short period of time, but sometimes it's for an extended period of time. But in the meantime, they're missing out on those valuable super guarantee contributions that go into their superannuation accounts. And the impact of that over the long run is incredibly detrimental. Now, I understand that our government really need to step in and do lots of things around this, but I know that I'm going to be stepping out of the workforce on a part-time capacity when Apple arrives, because that is what's best for me, Apple, and my family. I do not want to become a statistic. And instead of focusing on the problem, I want to look at the solutions, which is what this video is all about. What can we do right now where we don't have to wait around for the government to do something that will help bridge this gap? We proactively tackle this problem so that we don't become a statistic. So what am I going to do over the next 4 months between now and the end of August to help tackle this problem? Well, as you guys know from watching me on my YouTube channel and on Instagram, I have saved, earned, manifested over $94,000 since starting the $1,000 project 3.5 years ago. Now, I've never really shared this with you guys, but this money is actually worth, the portfolio is actually worth over $100,000, which is seriously impressive, and I have to pinch myself every time I look at my portfolio. But I have decided I need to make this 4 months count, and I really want to do something powerful with the $1,000 project. So I have decided I'm going to incorporate a conservative gearing strategy to help magnify the opportunities with this portfolio. Okay, so you're probably wondering, hang on, Canna, what do you mean by a conservative gearing strategy? Well, gearing means you're borrowing to invest. So I'm going to borrow some money and I'm going to add it to my investment portfolio. I'm going to do this in a very conservative way, so I'm not going to borrow a large amount of money, and I'm not using this money to just buy stuff like clothing, shoes, accessories, or handbags. I'm actually using this money to buy more investments for my portfolio. I'm buying more opportunities where I am accessing assets that are two-dimensional, that grow from capital growth perspective and also grow from an income perspective. Now, I'm going to manage this risk as the best I can, and there are lots of really good things that I'm doing to do this conservatively. First of all, I'm going to borrow $50,000. Now, this is worth already $100,000. It means my loan to value ratio is 33%. Now, I would normally never recommend someone goes 50% or more. So I'm actually already doing this really conservatively. If I was doing this normally, I would probably borrow $100,000, but I'm not. I'm going to start slow and steady with this. Now, the next thing I'm doing is I'm diversifying this $50,000. I'm not going to put this $50,000 into 1, 2, or even 3 stocks. I'm actually going to be using the $50,000 to invest in a listed investment company that invests in over 1,600 different companies and industries. So I have not put all my eggs in one basket, but I have spread that risk across the performance and long-term growth of many different companies and many different industry. The next thing is this is not a short-term get-rich-quick strategy. I'm investing for the long run of 20, 30, 40 years. I never intend in selling any of the shares in this portfolio because this is what gives me my passive income, and that passive income I give to charity. Eventually, I want to build this investment portfolio up over time so that it more than covers my living expenses, which is a really exciting goal to have and something that I talk about in my next book, Mindful Money, which you can pre-order already. And the next thing that I'm also doing to make this as incredibly as conservative and safe as possible is I'm going to prepay the interest on this $50,000 loan using the $1,000 project. And any extra money I come up with above prepaying the interest on this loan, I will use to help pay down this investment loan. So my loan to value ratio, which will be 33%, will actually be coming down over time with my dividends continuing to be reinvested, the long-term capital growth, and me making additional lump sum contributions of $1,000 at a time by doing the $1,000 project. Now you're probably wondering, okay, this sounds quite good. You're doing lots of sensible things to manage this and do it conservatively and wisely, and you've got a long-term approach and you understand all the risks. But why? Why would you go and borrow such a large amount of money? Well, it's because I'm increasing the opportunity for compounding growth to work its magic for me. If I was to not do this, and there's nothing wrong if you don't want to do something like this, my investment portfolio, if I was just to leave it, not add any more new money to it, but just let it sit there for the next 20 years, I earned an average interest of say 7.5%. In 20 years' time, my portfolio would be worth $446,000, which by no means is like this huge amount of money. It's almost $500,000, which is incredible. And remember, that's with no new money invested. However, if I do this, I borrow $50,000, conservatively paid off over time if I want, or just prepay the interest as I do each year by doing the $1,000 project, don't add any new money to the portfolio, and I take the same return of 7.5% per annum and the same time frame of 20 years, my portfolio will be worth over $669,000. So the impact of borrowing that $50,000 is $220,000 better off. Now, as you guys know, I'm so incredibly passionate about showing you guys how to build up long-term passive income streams and use your money more wisely. So you could actually do this for yourself if you want to. And I explain this strategy and lots of other different strategies in my next book, Mindful Money. But if you are doing the $1,000 project and you're doing it right now, I recommend sticking to your financial goals that you've already set, but start using the time now to learn about borrowing to invest, building and buying long-term two-dimensional passive income streams, and how this can help you build financial independence and freedom in your life. Now, I better go because I've got some serious hustling to do over the next 4 months, and I've got my ANZ margin loan application right here, right now to submit so I can get this $50,000 loan approved as quickly as possible. So enjoy this video, everyone. Make sure you share it with anyone who's interested in building an investment portfolio, and I will see you later in the week for more Manifesting May playlist videos. See you soon. Ciao for now.